rather than wanting to live in the fifth dimension or thinking about it or trying, you can just step into fifth dimension expression in these simple ways. My name's Sonia Choquette. Welcome to my channel. I am a third generation intuitive guide. I've been teaching people how to connect with their divine spirit, follow their intuition, raise their vibration, and manifest magnificent lives for over 45 years. So now this year, 2025, is the change point. It is the frequency year where if you want to live as a fifth dimensional being, you can do so very quickly because we have so much divine support. The portals of the higher realms are open. Divine guidance is here. Our master teachers, the planetary shift, every single thing is converging in your favor to move into a radically different and far better experience if you're willing. Welcome to my channel. I'm happy you're here. If you're here for the first time, I really believe you were guided to be here. And today we're going to just walk right into fifth dimensional living. If you're coming back, welcome back, and let's begin. First of all, I'd like to share that my guides, the emissaries of the third ray, second octave of love, whom I have been working with for many years, over 30 years, and who've helped me write many of my over 30 books, are the ones giving me this guidance right now to share, because there is a bit of an urgency to move into a higher frequency for the sake of our planetary good and for our soul intentions collectively. Everyone who's alive signed up to be on this planet at this point in time and to move into a higher frequency or self-select out. So how do you live in fifth dimension energy immediately? First thing is to accept that you have more than 5 senses, that you have a whole inner constellation of senses that are helping you read the energy of life accurately. And it is time to accept and embrace these inner guidance senses and the voice of your higher self coming through with no more resistance. No more throwing it in your head like a ping pong ball, swirling around. No more asking other people what they think. No more distancing from it and saying, oh, that's so weird and woo-woo, and starting to embody, embrace, accept. This is part of my divine fifth dimension consciousness. So accept, change the paradigm, change the understanding, change the point of view. I am a multi-sensory being who has more than 5 senses. And my inner senses that are coming online are what take me to fifth dimension living. So that means choice number 2, stop spending so much time in your head. In fact, try to spend as little time as possible. You start spinning around and thinking and figuring out, you have to stop, time out, do something different. You can't do anything. If you could go for a walk, go for a walk. That's one thing you can do to get out of your head. Or take a shower. That's another thing you can do to get out of your head. Or turn on very loud music and sing or dance or both. That will do it for you. It can be Broadway tunes. You don't have to be Mick Jagger, but if you're inclined, go for it. Number 3, and this is really important. This will be the game changer. The truth is, your fifth dimension self, your higher self, the embodied higher consciousness of you, is already landing in your physical awareness, in your body. It is trying to come through. You are feeling it. More telepathy, more connection, more sensing what people are thinking and doing in that when you step into a room, more awareness if someone is lying to you or guarded, or even if they don't feel good. It's all just started flooding in. Now, what you want to do is simply acknowledge it. Don't fight it. Don't judge it. Don't even challenge it. Just acknowledge it. If you get a gut feeling, an aha, a hunch, a knowing, a sense, acknowledge it. If possible, acknowledge it out loud, because the more you name it, the more you claim it. And the more you acknowledge this inner consciousness, this higher inner awareness, the more it becomes anchored, stabilized, the more it becomes integrated, and the more your higher self begins to take over. Initially, you may just experience when you're walking into a room, you might experience, there's been a fight in here, or there's bad vibes in here, or you might have a conscious tracking of the tone of the energy of the place. Acknowledge it. If you can say it out loud, just say it. Good vibes, bad vibes, heavy energy, dissonant energy in here. Simply acknowledging it without needing anybody else's approval or confirmation or agreement. Just say, I'm experiencing this. Now, you may not be able to share that with anybody who gets it. You don't know. But name it to yourself. Just acknowledge it verbally. Just acknowledge it mentally out loud. I'm feeling some energy. Don't deny it and don't suppress it. That is a fifth dimension consciousness. So you have to get into the habit of checking in. I have a wonderful book I've created called the Trust Your Vibes Guided Journal, which can train you to check in. It can train you to remember to check in, because when we go to our heads, we check out. We pull ourselves back, we go numb, we shut down all of our senses, we dim our lights, and how's that going to help you in the world? So you scan, you do what I call a vibe check. You start from the feet to the knees, you scan. Do I feel any energy there? Do I feel grounded, ungrounded? Do I feel safe? Do I want to run? Do I want to settle in? Do I feel secure? Do I feel at ease? Knees to hips, same thing. Just run a scan. How do I feel? Do I feel solid? Do I feel wobbly? Do I feel like I want to be afraid? Am I holding my breath? And that's another thing. To live in the fifth dimension, you need to remember to breathe. And the more you sigh and let energy out, that's a clearing. That is a releasing of dense energy, mental, toxic energy. And then smile. So you want to scan, and then hips to shoulders. What does my heart say? What does my gut say? What is it experiencing vibrationally? How is it responding to the energy around me? The more you recognize and acknowledge this, the more you are demonstrating a fifth dimension consciousness. And that is, you're starting to embody this fifth dimension level of awareness. And here's the interesting thing. You start to do this, it's like turning on the system. And all of a sudden you get flooded with awareness. You get all of a sudden illuminated with understanding. And it comes through in a way that is not for your brain. For example, I had a client who had an extraordinarily toxic relationship with her husband for years, very combative, very obnoxious fights. They would come together, they would split apart, never got each other. Every single encounter was another battle of the wits or of the will or territory. So, and it was interesting. Everything in her said, I don't want to leave this relationship. And she even said one time, I want to win. But when she started checking in with her body and scanning, she started to recognize how she herself would set up the fight, how she would bait her husband for the fight because she loved feeling. She loved the feeling of the fight. She loved the intensity. It was the only way she could feel anything. And with this awareness, she said, I don't want to fight anymore. My higher self said, stop the fight, do something creative together. And so she decided to stop the fight and start a project together. And they started instead. She convinced him to help her build a house, to buy some land and build a house instead of buy a ready-made house. First, his response, which was conditioned, was to fight. But once they started working together, that same intensity that combated each other was directed to a common goal. And the battle was to make the house come together. Now, they still bickered, but it wasn't like the epic throwdowns from before. She said, by the time we finished our house, we were friends. We felt we shared an accomplishment. But she said, honest to God, my higher self told me he's not your enemy. Fight with him for a greater purpose instead of fight with him to be in power. So, people don't really understand what fifth dimension experiences are, but what they are is loving, connected, creative, empowering outcomes, where instead of struggling and fighting and being drained and being diminished, you become a better version of you, and whomever it is you encounter, they too experience life in a better way. So this brings me to my next point in fifth dimension living. Set an intention. This is from my guide, Joaquin. Set one intention every day to, in some way, bring some joy, some positivity, some uplifting energy to someone else. And if you really want to make this a stretch, start with the person that you would feel would be most difficult. The one you'd be like, oh God, no, I don't want to even talk to that person. Now, you don't have to physically engage. That's the wonderful thing about living in the fifth dimension, is you live in a world of energy. You can send them love. It's sort of a Buddhist technique to say, I wish you best, I wish you healing, I wish you well-being, I wish you peace. May all good things come to you. Now, that is moving out of ego, third dimension, into heart, fifth dimension. It asks you to be generous. Now, generosity is a landmark of the fifth dimension. When you're territorial and you are a hoarder and you hold on and you don't share, that's the ego, because it feels and believes there's not enough. So if I give too much away, I'm going to be deprived. Whereas in the fifth dimension, the more generous you are, whether it's a generous comment or a kind word or an uplifting statement or just some reassurance, the more generous you are, the more you're connecting to the flow of all there is. So being generous is the gift that keeps on giving. It is a clear signal that you are living in a fifth dimension experience, and it will bring you absolute abundance. Generous people are in the flow. Now, I'm not talking about, crazy codependent giving things away beyond a natural point that feels good. And you don't even have to give material things. Give your attention, give your time, give your focus. It's interesting. I have a tool that I use in many, many of my workshops called Diving for Gold, where in the workshop, you sit with a partner, and the partner's assignment is to listen to you for 3 minutes without offering advice, without coaching, without caretaking, just giving you the honor of listening, while the person who's being listened to shares their greatest fears. And they don't need to be rescued. They don't need to be nourished. They don't need to be, contained. Just let them speak and give them the gift of your attention. Very few people can do it. Very few people can do it. I suggest in my workshops, don't hold their hand and don't pat them on the back. Just hold space. Just create the space to say, I'm listening and honoring you, with the understanding that your soul's got this. You'll find your way. I love the you in there that has created this challenge and will find your way out of it. And that's very important, to give others the gift of your attention. So when it comes to making a decision to be an uplifting force, if someone says, I'm having a hard day, don't respond with me too. Respond with, I'm sorry to hear that. I really, tell me more about it. I hope it gets better. Or if someone is sharing their celebration, I just won something, I just conquered something, be generous, say congratulations and celebrate them. So that's another thing that the third dimension consciousness doesn't do. If someone does something really exciting or has a breakthrough or a celebration or a success or an accomplishment, a third dimension reaction is going to be jealousy, withholding, holding back. It's not going to be supportive. So you have to become aware. So these are some tools for this week. You want to be tuned in, scan your body. If you need some help, get my book, The Trust Your Vibes Guided Journal. You can find a link below for it. It's excellent training for living in the fifth dimension. And it will also bring excellent awareness to how you can manifest more quickly. Every time you have an intuitive feeling, go with it, but also acknowledge it. And frankly, acknowledge it even if you don't go with it. I'm feeling I shouldn't go here. Even if you do go here, at least you've acknowledged it and you'll have evidence as to why you were feeling that very shortly. Don't ask for other people's approval ever. My guy Joaquin says that if you really want to accelerate, give people positive input. Mirror back to people that they are lovable, they are wonderful, they are worthy. You don't have to pour it on too thick. That'll make them suspicious. But just say, you look beautiful today. I love the light in your eyes. I love your spirit. Good to see you. I'm sorry you're struggling, but I know you've got this. You'll find your way. You're so creative. These connections, what they do is reflect the fifth dimension understanding that we're all connected. So every focus or every effort of good energy comes swinging right back at you. Again, gift that keeps on giving. So you don't have to believe me. I want you to experiment with this. I want you to try it. I want you to try announcing out loud your intuitive feelings. Turn on, read those inner channels. I have another book I've just released, Read Life Accurately, which is also an excellent guide for helping you tune in. Really tune into what you're feeling and trusting it. And that's fifth dimension living. The other thing is to be, and the final thing, I'll just give you one final thing, is to be aware of the divine support you have. You have so much help. When you live in the fifth dimension, you become aware of the energetic realms. And in the energetic realms are your divine self, your higher self, light beings, teacher guides like Joaquin, and emissaries of the third ray who are helping me teach today and all the time. You become aware of the earth spirits, nature spirits, ancestors, even your own alternate selves. It's a wild, it's like we are all multifaceted crystals and we have 1,000 facets to it. So we're just living out of one facet. We're really limiting ourselves to the third dimension. So you can have fun with these things, but I want you to experiment. I want you to experiment with acknowledging the energy you read, saying it out loud, not fighting it, not resisting, not throwing it in your head, and putting good energy out there, connecting to other people, but not caretaking, care but don't carry, observe, don't absorb, breathe and stay present. Stay present. In fact, we'll be talking about that even more, focusing even more, because we are catapulting into the fifth dimension, but we have to learn to stabilize that energy. And these are some techniques which will help you do that. What will happen if you do that? Your life will become very quickly really, really wonderful. And I want you to put in the comments below how wonderful it does become if you try this. Give it a few days and come back. Report, because these techniques, these tools are the staircase to the fifth dimension of your empowered self. They work. So that's my message this week. If it was something valuable, please give me a thumbs up. I hope you liked it. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you want this to even go better, share this with some of your friends or some of your peers, people that you can maybe start working with so you don't feel alone. Okay, everybody, it's been a pleasure. See you next week. All my love.